Hey, South Asia Valorant players, I'm Sean Garris.
It's Kusta.
And Michael from Genji Valorant here with some really exciting news.
We have teamed up with LG Ultragear and the Esports Club for Season 2 of the Gauntlet.
The winner of Tec Gauntlet Season 2 will receive an exclusive one-on-one mentoring session with our Valorant team to help identify areas of improvement in their game to prepare for a higher level of gameplay.
In addition to that, we're going to be reacting to some of the top plays throughout this competition. Guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so make sure you don't miss out on this. Good luck to everyone competing from everyone here at Genji Valorant.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last and final game for the entirety of the brackets. Only don't worry, we still have the entirety of the playoffs for the Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. So don't really worry about that, but it's going to be your boy Aggressive coming on down to us, the host this time around, joined by Floki once again, and the long-lost bouncing baby boy, Quaid, who looks as though he's under the staircase in a closet, but it's completely fine. Don't really worry about it. We're all back. We're all hyped, and let's head on down over today's fixtures and see exactly which teams are gonna be the one to pop up for the 8 p.m. game to burn up the server here. And Quayne, as you're finally back, walk us right through the matches, my man. It's gonna be Global Esports versus Cohesion. I want your thoughts on this match.
Honestly, man, like this entire season has been so exciting. There have been like so many teams who just came out unexpectedly, and Team Cohesion was one of those. And Global Esports versus Team Cohesion is something that I've been waiting to watch, because Cohesion is this up and coming team who have a lot to prove, but then Global Esports is basically a team who have a lot to stand for. So who's gonna be winning it out? We're just gonna wait and find out.
Yeah, as of right now, the main thing that we really do need to focus on is Team Cohesion trying to stabilize themselves at the bare minimum. Team Global Esports, they're pretty much in the green. They don't really have anything to worry about other than their seeding. Taking a number one spot away, yes or no, is going to be the real question. But before we do talk about the side of the teams, let's head on down over towards the MVP standings, ladies and gentlemen, and see exactly which of these players have been firing up on the server, considering everything that was happening here. And right from the very beginning and all the way to the very end, we can already see that two of the top stars are already here for both of the squads. Global Esports have the side of SK Rossi, and for the side of Team Cohesion, we have SK WoW. Honestly, Floki, I'm excited to see these SK brothers just duking it off against one another.
Yeah, it's a matter of bragging rights as well, right? I mean, later down the line when you go back home and you're talking to each other, it's like I remember when I, beat your team and you could do nothing about it. And remember, when you tried to peek me and I destroyed your head. Yeah, how does that feel?
Oh,
No, I mean that's just how brothers go. But I'm pretty sure SK Rossi and SKO have a much healthier relationship than that. Although it's gonna be interesting to see how both of these guys play. Now, really cool thing is that since both of them pretty much only play duelists, it is very very likely that we see them run into each other and duke it out multiple times. And I'm really curious to see who ends up coming out on top. I have a feeling that SK Rossi is probably going to be a little bit cheeky, and he's probably going to have access to that operator a lot more than SKO. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he just outright won all the duels, and SKO ends up being the sacrificial lamb for the rest of his team. But you never know. SKO, he's really had his moment so far, and he's made his way on top of that board despite his team not really having a chance to make it
Yeah.
into the playoffs. So this is a man that you need to look out for and you need to respect because he could potentially be the win condition here for Team Cohesion.
And you never really know. These underdog squads have been filling out wins out of absolutely nowhere. I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing up against the side of global esports as well. But as we are talking about the teams and talking about the hierarchy of the points, let's head on down over to his group standings and see exactly how and how much these teams need to win here to try and maybe stabilize themselves on their positions, maybe take that #1 seed for themselves. Let's see what to expect here. And global esports, they're in the best possible spot that you can think of. They're here on that second position. If they're able to take this on a 2-0, they go up to #1. They're the first seed here for Group B. But for Team Cohesion, yeah, in a way, there's nothing for them to win here. Pretty much 5-1. They have 4 points. They stabilize themselves, and they're going to be able to go on down over to season #3 and have it for themselves, regardless your points. So in a way, this is pretty much a show match for global esports to take #1.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, look at the stats right there. Yeah, it's going to be Team EXO and Global Esports almost tying each other's scores up. But that's the thing. EXO, Global, Valorant, Forge One, these are all names that we thought would come out on top. But season 2 has been such an entertaining season where the underdogs came out on top for a few rounds, then they went back down again. It's been like a curve where some teams just keep coming back on top and then keep going back down again. And Cohesion and Orglis, these are teams that I really thought would make a difference. They would make it count and they'd honestly be able to climb the ladder. But they did have strong performance, but not enough to stand their ground or stand their positions. But I'm really hopeful that they're going to be coming back in season 3, which is just around the corner, and they're going to be coming back stronger.
And honestly, they're going to be prepped up. They're going to be ready to try and take down their opposition, especially when you consider that Cohesion, they need to go up against a massive juggernaut here. If they're able to end it off on a good note at the bare minimum, we'll have high hopes for them moving on down the line over onto season #3 for the group stages once again. But for now, let's head on down over to the first initial team intro, ladies and gentlemen, for the side of global esports and see exactly who's going to be playing for their end to tear up the entire server here. And honestly, Floki, these guys don't really need an introduction, but at the same time, hey, it's our job. We need to talk about them, so take it all away.
I mean, Escurosi, Kappa, Hellranger skills, lightning fast. Basically, if you've been in touch with any tactical shooter community or if with the Valorant community, you know who these guys are. These guys are probably one of the best teams in India. And they are vying for that top 1 spot, contending for it against the side of VLT. Although there have been teams knocking up at the door, looking to claim that top spot for themselves. They have had a couple of losses here and there. Although global, they've been looking a lot stronger this time around. This could potentially be a loss for them because I feel like Cohesion is one of those teams that is almost on the cusp of actually making it to the playoffs and being a top tier team. But the issue is they always win that one map and then they have trouble putting that second one on board. So, it just becomes this sort of situation where you think to yourself, man, we could have won that game. Man, we could have won that game. Man, we could have won that game. When you lose 2-0, there's some things you need to work on. When you lose 2-1, it's almost like you could have won, but you just feel like you got robbed or something of that sort. So I'm hoping that Team Cohesion can actually pull off a win here maybe and cause a little bit of a stir, even though this is not really going to affect the group standing. Just give a global a little bit of a heart attack and a bit of a run for their money. With that said, though, we know that all these teams know that this game really doesn't matter. So hey, SK Rossi Euro, it might be in the mix.
SK Rossi and Euro. I'm kind of interested to see if that does happen after that first initial Euro game from Trist. I have no idea what to expect. That Euro could be a massive throw, or it could be the thing that brings the side of Global that win. But at the same time, let's see which player from the side of Global Esports are going to be bringing in the win for their side as we head on down over to the player spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, powered by AMD Ryzen Radiant. And it's not going to be none other than SK Rossi. Of course, this guy has to be on the spotlight and possibly of the Euro as well, don't you think so?
Yeah, pretty much. Like when Floki was walking us through the entire team, I was just mentally thinking in the back of my mind, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be SK Rossi on the player spotlight. I don't even need to like put in that much of a guess, and look at it. It is SK Rossi. Look at his KD even. 253 kills and 164 deaths. That's almost 100 KD apart. That is just impressive. The fact that you can fearlessly go out onto the field and manage to make your bullets count, manage to get those kills, come back safely and play for your team. Now, a lot of these Jet players, you know that they tend to aggress more. They may or may not get a kill, but they will always end up dying. But SK Rossi, in spite of the confidence, in spite of going in bare bones with just a gun in his hand, his aim is just so good. He deserves to be on the player spotlight, man. Like, this guy is up there, man. Like, he has it's just something that just shakes the entire server. And when he's on the server, everybody else knows that wherever SK Rossi is going to be, I probably don't want to be on that end of the map, and I'm just going to scoot over to the other end. But no, he always comes in with a flank. He always comes in with new interesting plays, and his aim is always true. So of course he's going to be on the player spotlight.
Yeah, he deserves to be here in comparison to anyone else because he is the one. He is the Jet player that our entire country is built upon, pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, because he's been the one tearing it up, not just here on our scene, but also in the international scene, because I've seen quite a lot of streamers and quite a lot of the other pro players on NA and EU speak up the name of SK Rossi over and over from time to time, and it's because of the audience back at home hyping it up so much. So will that hype be the thing that maybe takes him down a notch against Cohesion? We need to see here, ladies and gentlemen, because this performance could just be a big one from SK Rossi, or he could fall flat on his face as well, because we know for a fact that Rossi, he's been having a little bit of a rough time when it comes down to his own consistency, when it comes down to a couple of the matches. But hey, when we're talking about things that could be consistent, let's talk about the side of Team Cohesion as well, as we head on down over onto their team spotlight. And the main thing that I want to highlight here as we talk about this team here, Floki, is their consistency. It feels like at some moments they have moments of brilliance, but then at the next they just fall flat on their face.
Absolutely. I feel like Team Cohesion, the one thing that they have going for themselves is that occasionally, you'll see that a player will just clutch out around in the most insane manner possible, and then they'll just die to a simple rush and get caught off guard by that. But as much as it is a coin flip with these guys, it is also a coin flip with SK Rossi at times. So, somewhere or the other things are evened out, I suppose. And on paper, this is not a matchup that most people would actually think and be like, oh yeah, like, this should be a pretty straightforward match for Global Esports. No, this is actually one of the tougher matchups for Global Esports, in my opinion. I feel like they're going to have a harder time against Team Cohesion than some of these other teams, because Cohesion has been dripping it up. Every single one of their players, you never know when they're about to step up. You never know, when they're going to go absolutely berserk and get themselves all those multi-kills. And just like almost every single team that goes up against Global Esports does their due diligence by checking every single corner, Team Cohesion, when you're going up against them, you're going to have to do the same. And I think that sort of might just, put Global Esports in a bit of a slower mindset. Usually they're quite meticulous. They do have some of their faster plays where SK Rossi just dashes in on the back of something like a breach stun or a breach flash. But yeah, this time around, they're really going to have to, just make sure that they watch where they take a step, because they could be walking into a trap every single time they go into a site. I mean, those corners, they need to be cleared.
Yeah, when you do consider all of these plays that could just be possible from the side of Cohesion, you would want them to maybe switch things up a little bit more. But at the same time, as we are talking about the side of Team Cohesion, let's see who's going to be shining the brightest from their end as we head on down over towards the player spotlight for Team Cohesion, ladies and gentlemen, powered by AMD Ryzen Radiant. And Quaint, I want your thoughts, because Spawn has been one of those players that haven't really been on the server as much. He's like that sixth player for the entirety of Cohesion, but when he is on the server, I do believe that he is able to perform. But once again, the entire team suffers from one single problem. That's mainly consistency, because they have the aim, they have the strategies, but it's not consistent. One round they're really good, and the next round they just feel like very unorganized.
Exactly, and I completely agree with both of you here. It's the entirety of the consistency that is a problem for Cohesion. But when they do pop off, they do pop off. And like you said, I haven't seen a lot of Spawn either. I mean, look at his KD, 30 kills, 56 deaths. That's a really low number. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities to pop up on the server. But just based off the fact that he's on the player spotlight, you have to assume some great things about the man. Pretty sure when he's left onto the server, they can do a lot of magic, and I'm waiting for that to happen. But here's the thing: that's exactly it. These guys keep like changing their play styles from round to round. They keep changing their play styles from map to map, and that is honestly why one of those they're normally the kind of team who goes out, wins one of those maps, and then they'll falter in the next one. The consistency is the only problem there. And if they can get that together, and if they can get their act together, they're gonna go the distance. But I think they need a little more time together as a team. I'm very sure they're good like individually, but they need a little more time together as a team to bloom, to blossom, and to become that much better to go up against the top dogs. Yeah, cohesive, exactly. Honestly, yes. I'm surprised that I didn't catch on to that word, but yes, precisely. I could not have said it better myself. Cohesive, a little more cohesion, and they're going to be one of the best out there.
Yeah, truly. The pod game has to be strong as well here, ladies and gentlemen, because you got to remember something. This is the last stage. This is the last match, for the entirety of the group stages. We're going to be done and dusted here right after this game, and all these teams are going to be heading on down over on the playoffs. So, hey, the fun games have to be strong, especially when they consider both of these squads. Yep. They're going to be pumped up, and they're going to be ready to tear up the server. And, hey, speaking about the servers, let's see what the teams have in store for us as we head on down over towards the map video screen, ladies and gentlemen, because I am really hyped to see how the start is going to happen. And once again, Floki, it's always Haven. Yeah. It's always Haven.
I mean, I don't know what the matter is. It's just that Haven is one of those versatile maps that you could pretty much run anything and get away with it. Well, not anything. You definitely can't run 3 duelists and get away with that, as we learned from Reckoning versus... I forgot. Reckoning... Who was it? Reckoning versus... True Rippers, there you go. I got confused there for a second. Reckoning versus True Rippers. I mean, you can run a lot of things, but in most cases, it makes a lot of sense to run double initiators on a map like Haven, just because there's so much ground to cover, and you have so much potential for being a little bit aggressive, that the space that initiators provide you with is really well utilized on a map like Haven. If you're able to, get a good recon dart going, if you're able to just, throw that sky flash and clear out the entirety of Garage, there's a lot of map control you get for relatively little commitment. And yeah, that's exactly what the initiators are good at. They just want to toss a flash in there, set up one of the duelists to go in. And all of a sudden, you just got yourself a lot more map control. With that said, though, we have seen a lot of different lineups on Haven, and I'm curious to see what Cohesion is going to, opt to go for in terms of agent composition.
Haven is a map where we already talked about this, and I'm pretty sure that the audience is pretty much done and dusted with us as well when it comes down to us hyping the fact that this is a map where a lot of these underdog teams can actually take down the juggernauts, because the strat book is much more diverse on this map. Sometimes these underdog teams have strategies that these higher tier teams don't even know about. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how to counteract a lot of these different strategies. So there's not much that they could do here. But at the same time, Quinn, give me your thoughts on the map selection and from start and out till the very end. What do you think is going to happen here? Is it going to be a fast 2-0, or will Team Cohesion actually be the one to pull out the map of Haven in their favor?
It might just be a fast 2-0, but if at all, I feel like Cohesion might take the map of Haven. Or even if not, I'm very sure that they're not going to be able to defeat Global Esports on the map of Split at least, because Global Esports, they're very technical about things. They're basically the kind of guys who, come in with notepads, they write down probably like intense mathematical formulas to get the exact angle to place their crosshairs properly. And there's just like gears in an entire machine, and they just work so beautifully. So the closer or the smaller the map is going to be, the more corners they're going to have to, play around, to play mind games around, and to just go around the entire thing and squeeze the opponents. So I feel like on the map of Split, at least Global Esports is going to be taking the win. But if at all Cohesion manages to take out the first map, we might see an Icebox come into play. But I'm kind of leaning towards a 2-0 with Global Esports going for a clean win.
It just happened, but at the same time, when you consider the first initial map being Haven, it could be a one-sided affair, or it could be something really different as well. We don't really know yet, because it's Team Cohesion. They are a team that can bring in something a little bit more different, maybe take map number 1. And then map number 2 it being split could just be much more of a different affair entirely. It could go in any way, but I do believe that it can be a spicy affair indeed. But let's just see what to expect here. Both of these teams, they're going to be prepped up. They're going to be ready. But at the same time here, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what else to expect here. And my cam's going to be bugging out just a little bit. But honestly, we're going to be done here on the analysis. And we're sending these two down over towards the caster desk because these guys are going to be pumped. And I know that you back at home, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be pumped as well for this matchup. Hope you enjoy the last stream for the entirety of the brackets. And we're going to be heading on down over towards the caster's desk after a short break with the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you in just a little.
Hey, South Asia Valorant players, I'm Sean Garris.
It's Kusta.
And Michael from Genji Valorant here with some really exciting news.
We have teamed up with LG Ultragear and the Esports Club for Season 2 of the Gauntlet.
The winner of Tec Gauntlet Season 2 will receive an exclusive one-on-one mentoring session with our Valorant team to help identify areas of improvement in their game to prepare for a higher level of gameplay.
In addition to that, we're going to be reacting to some of the top plays throughout this competition. Guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so make sure you don't miss out on this. Good luck to everyone competing from everyone here at Genji Valorant.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. My name is Floki. Joining me for this one's going to be Quaint. We have Global Esports going up against Team Cohesion. The two SK brothers going against each other and taking up arms. This is going to be an interesting one, Quaint. And if you had to make a prediction, who do you think, out of all the engagements these guys are going to take, if it comes down to SK Rossi going up against SK Wow, who do you think is going to come out on top?
That's a really interesting and a really controversial question that I'm not really sure if I want to answer that, but I kind of am leaning over towards SK Rossi because it's not even about a statistics, right? Like this guy knows when to fall back. Yes, I've seen him have moments where he's just like not having a good day and he keeps rushing and sometimes his aim is just not like landing. But I've seen him just pick back up from that same place. He literally just I'm not kidding you, he literally just changed his crosshair and then he just started fragging again. And I'm like, what is this man? Is there anybody who can stop him? But you're right. If there's anyone who can stop him, it's going to be his brother SK Wow. But not really sure he's going to be coming out on top. But I'm going to be leaning over towards SK Rossi just a teeny tiny bit.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, you made your predictions. And if I were to predict, I'd probably say that it's going to be a little bit more in favor of SK Rossi, but it is not going to be by a huge margin. I feel like SK Wow is just as solid of an aimer as SK Rossi.
Yeah.
It's just that he doesn't use the operator as much. So, the fights are going to be rather one-sided, and that's sort of what's going to set the difference there. But Cohesion picking up Haven, a map that Global Esports have played a lot in the past, and they've had different strats to make it work. Although I have seen them mess up a couple of executes a couple of times. So I don't know, maybe they've worked on that, maybe they've fixed that. I specifically remember SK Rossi dashing in real quick, updrafting, and then just getting plucked out of the sky by a player on platform on C.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm interested. I'm gonna be interested to see if they've sort of accounted for those things and how they're gonna be playing their executes now. But when it comes to global esports, the one thing you can be sure about is the way they take a side. They get map controlled properly. They're able to use their abilities well in conjunction with each other and really set up their duelist, whoever it is, to go in and get that frag, whether be it skills or SK Rossi.
Precisely, and that's what sets global esports apart from most of the other teams, isn't it? Because they are surgical with whatever they do. When they go in with a certain plan, and they go in with the intention to execute it. They are going to take control over the map, like little by little, area by area, and they don't just rush in without a plan, without just having any information. They don't just go in and start fragging. I've seen a lot of teams do that, and they're good at that. But these guys, they never take a risk, and that is what I respect them for. In spite of being one of the best teams in the country, they never, ever, ever underestimate their opponents, and nor should they. Yeah, and nor should they, especially when it's a team like Cohesion, who has so much potential. And on top of that, SK Wow is going to be plonked right into that team, and he's going to be fragging like crazy, I'm sure. And what are the odds? I'm pretty sure I'm going to be betting a little bit of money that I think that it's always going to be SK Wow and SK Rossi peeking down mid, trying to like take out the other duelists first. And when that's not going to work out, I feel like it's going to go to C long and it's going to become an off battle. What do you think?
I have no idea. I mean, I could make a prediction and then have the exact opposite happen. So I've wisened up to my old ways. But yeah, this should be a pretty interesting matchup. I'm just trying to think to myself, if you're SK Wow, like what's going on in your mind when you're trying to go up against your brother, who obviously, I mean, has a lot more reputation, and you have that, I'd say older brother syndrome, but I'm pretty sure SK Rossi is the younger one. I could be wrong about this though, but I think SK Rossi is the younger one. So yeah. Just having a brother who's better than you at a video game that you showed him how to play. I wonder how that feels a couple of times. I'm sure he's proud of him, being part of global esports though. But yeah, with that out of the way, we should be jumping into the game pretty soon and seeing what agents they pick up. Not going to be too surprised if global esports stick to their tried and tested Astra and Breach. It always makes sense. It always works out for them, and it's strong, it's stable, it's reliable. Why fix something that's not broken, right?
Exactly. And yeah, on that note, I feel like Cohesion, right? They don't really know what it is that is not broken, that they're not wanting to fix. They don't get that track that they want to be on. But once they do, they go in with their entire might and they're unstoppable. So I hope that they're going to be finding their groove at least on the first map, because if they're not going to find it on this map, the second map is going to be very, very difficult. Icebox is kind of neutral. I feel like both teams are going to be equally as good on the map of Icebox, but Haven, that is where they have to make their first stand. And if they're not going to be able to account for that, Split, I feel like it's going to be a clear global win, and Cohesion is not going to be able to do anything about it, but just sit and stare as they get destroyed. But Haven, like I said, if they just get that momentum, if they find that one chink in global esports armor, they can really abuse that. And then instantly, once global catches onto that, they can honestly go for a different strategy and just keep things fresh. And Haven is one of the few maps that allows that. It's big enough, it's wide enough to go for multiple execute at the same time and go for quick in the moment decisions where you just go from one side to the other side from across the map, and you will leave your opponents hanging midair, not knowing what's happening. And Cohesion, they better take advantage of that, or the second map is honestly not going to go that good for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. And to add on to your point, because Global Esports isn't a team that really takes risks, so you're not really gonna have all those openings ready. But the agent selection screen is ready. We've done enough yapping. Let's have a look and see what is cooking in the Global Esports, as well as the Cohesion, team agent selection screens. I'm really curious to see what they pick up. I wonder if it's gonna be a Sky or a Breach this time around. And okay, it is gonna be a SOA picked up by Kappa and Hellranger hovering over the Breach. And oh, this is new. SK Rossi picks up the Reyna over the Jet. Haven't really seen this before, actually.
Honestly, you're not wrong. This is probably the first time that I'm seeing it. I'm very sure that the viewers are gonna, disagree. They've probably seen him play a lot of Reyna, but
Oh, yeah,
for
I
me
mean,
personally, yeah, in the tournaments at least,
No, I haven't seen him yet. He's
Exactly.
usually that Jet player.
yeah,
And
he's
for good reason. He's a very good Jet. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I mean, the
mean-
one criteria that you should be having for Jet is just raw aim, and there is no way about it. And he has it, and he knows that he's good on the Jet, but I feel like he's kind of not willing to take the risk. And he's like, you know what? Whenever I get a kill, I need that heal by my side because my brother is right there on the server, and he honestly doesn't want to let him down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with SK Rossi going for Reyna, this actually changes things up a little bit. Now, you can
Select
still
your
go for the
agent.
Breach, but it's just not as effective as it would be if you had something like the Jet, because the Jet can immediately capitalize on it. And okay, interesting picks coming here from the side of Global Esports. They go for the Hellranger Sky. That's not something I've seen very often. SK while picking up that Phoenix and fired up going up on that Jet. Interesting lineup coming out from both of these teams. Good agent composition, I have to say. Considering how Team Cohesion likes to play, the Omen really fits their playstyle. They've got some good map control. They've got a flash to work with. Apart from that, though, I'm kind of surprised to see SK well pick up that Phoenix. I thought for sure he was going to be playing Reyna on this map, but hey, to each their own. I mean, I'm curious to see how that Phoenix ends up working out. And if you win those first 2 rounds, then that Phoenix could potentially win you the 3rd round on the back of that run it back. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, let's jump to the game and see what these teams are made of. Global Esports going up against the side of Team Cohesion. Quite sure everyone has been waiting quite a long time for this. So yeah, let's see what these teams are made of.
Honestly, Floki, I love the fact that both of these SK brothers went for unexpected picks, and they were like, you know what, we should probably give the viewers something that they've never seen before. Both of them, they just went for, characters that they're not that used to picking, at least in tournaments. But nonetheless, it's going to be really, really interesting to watch what's going to be coming out of this. And honestly, I'm just invested in this SK Rossi versus SK WoW storyline, and I feel like this is going to be paying us dividends, and we're going to be having a lot of entertainment. But at the same time, you got to understand, these are 2 amazingly well-skilled teams going up against each other. Even Cohesion, yes, they're not being that cohesive as of right now, but these names, they're so good that you know that they can frag out on the server. They just need a little bit more time to communicate and cooperate with each other, and once that's going to be up and running, I feel like they're going to be cooking up a storm.
Yeah, they absolutely could be. I mean, for now, you can see that Global Esports, they're all a little bit focused towards mid, expecting a mid rush to come out from Team Cohesion. And you're not wrong, Team Cohesion, multiple times in the past, whenever they play here, they really like attacking Garage and mid. So, no big surprises there, but this time around, they're actually sending a small bunch of the players towards C long, where there's only a single Astra stall to try and prevent them from pushing in. Hellranger, right off the bat, is going to be able to pick up Nixera. Loses a lot of HP though, and SK WoW is looking to punish, but Fired Up is going to get that kill instead. Elsewhere, Spawn also falls. And SK WoW, he's going to peek out to try and take out SK Rossi, who ends up winning the duel. Who's the better one now? Bigger question. Well, 3v3. And Kappa waiting
Spike
in
planted.
that B side for anyone to overextend. Has been spotted though. Can he find the kill? Yes, he can. He picks up SK WoW and he fades back into the site. Gone and Fired Up, both looking to push him. They're coming in from the flank. You have to be aware about them. And Kappa, he's not going to be bested. He takes out Fired Up as well. Skills is just going to tag the defuse. They know Cone can't do anything at this point. And that's the round done. They got a bit too greedy. They wanted to kill Kappa and they end up giving away the round.
Honestly, what can I say, Floki? Clutch Puff for the win. He just comes out of the shadows, even though he's playing Sova. He just comes out of the most unexpected corners, and he's like, you know what? Surprise! And honestly, it works out every time. That's kind of why people have started calling him Clutch Puff, right? He just comes out of the most unexpected times, out of the most unexpected places, and he always just locks out of the head and he knows when to fall back. Like, you saw that trigger discipline where he got the first kill and he held back. He knew that nobody's going to be pushing him, and even if somebody were to be pushing him, he would be ready. He didn't peek until he realized that the time was right for him to peek. It worked out for him. Yeah, that is the first round going to Global Esports, and that just means that they're going to have a little bit more momentum to go forward with. But yeah, they've all picked up Spectres, a Bulldog on Lightning Fast, and SK Rossi is going to be playing without Frenzy. I hope it's not going to be failing him this time, because it's failed a lot of other people. Hellranger is going to start the show off by killing SK Wow. No more kills for SK Wow. SK Rossi is going to be picking up the kills instead. Comes in, but that teleport coming in from Cone was just, coming from Spawn was just so unfortunate, and he had no idea that Hellranger was going to be holding that, and he's going to be brutally murdered by the entire team. That was a 4-man, 4 men still alive. Global Esports, they're just sending it right now. And they're not really showing any signs of backing down, but here's where it's gonna get interesting, because proper Vandals and Phantoms are gonna be coming out from Team Cohesion. This is the moment where they're supposed to get their momentum up and going. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a downward momentum, and they don't really want that, do they?
Yeah, they absolutely don't, and I like the change of approach coming in for them. You can see Global Esports, they still suspect it's going to be a bit of a B stack, but they're actually rallied up outside A. They know that Global Esports have studied them after what they witnessed in the pistol round, and this time around they can attack a completely different side. Although, Skills and Lightning Fast are waiting here for him, the Sentinel and the controller of the team. Hellranger just pushed up all the way towards C Long, and he has a lot of information to work with so far, so the rotations are going to come in. SK Rossi is on the side. You can see if Cohesion wants to force this. Well, SK Rossi, good for one. Managed to find SK Wow, equalize the duel score up, fired up, is gonna get a kill on Skills, but Lightning Fast quickly trains him out. Gone! Almost lines up the second one as well as SK Rossi. He's able to get the HP back, but look at Spawn coming in with the lurk, is gonna be able to find him. It's all down to Hellranger, the man from Hell, all by himself. The captain, can he come in clutch for his team?
Like, for real, I'm not really sure. Spawn should be going for that plan, because he had a little bit of time. He could have played around with it. This is kind of risky, though, but his close plan positioning should be really, really airtight. Otherwise, Hellranger is going to be taking him down. He seems to have taken the hill long position, but that isn't going to matter, because Hellranger, he knows he's ready for the ultimate. Puts out his frackers, he puts out his seekers, and now all it's going to be given out. He knows that the long position is being held by him, but no!
Oh, wow.
He looks away the wrong time at the wrong angle. Expects Spawn to come in with a cheeky play, but no, Spawn is just straight down to business. Like, you're there, I'm going to peek out, and I'm going to take you down, and boy, he means business. I really thought that Hellranger was going to be able to clutch that out, considering how he put out his seekers, but yeah, Spawn just outbrained him.
Yeah, much needed round here for the side of Team Cohesion. They were starting to fall behind a little bit, but they've managed to even up the tempo. The only annoying part about this is going to be the fact that a couple of them are going to have to run light shields, so you're still vulnerable to those long-range Phantom headshots. SK Rossi, he's picked up the Phantom. I think he was dropped over one by his teammate because he didn't have money for shields and a gun. And Skills, oh no, I don't know if he's going to go unchecked. He's hiding in the right corner. He gets checked, but he's going to be A-okay for now. Spawn, looking to capitalize, is hoping to throw out the paranoia and blind him, but no. Skills, he's made it back to safety, and there are 3 players from Global Esports already on A as Hellranger scouts out the entirety of mid towards the B window area, and he sees nothing. Kappa, it's hard to push in with that Spectre. Close range, that weapon can be devastating, and you can see Cohesion, they're aware that they've given up a ton of map control, and they're basically pinched and squeezed into this little area of the map. No one really capitalizing just yet, though. They could all spring out at once and surprise Hellranger, but Hellranger, he's backing off. He's playing it safe, letting Kappa be the one to try and find that first duel. Instead, Kappa's gonna get flashed, but still doesn't make any noise. Throws out the recon. A recon in return. Kappa looking to line up 2, but he only gets 1, does damage to the second one at elsewhere. Lightning Fast and Skills, they found the kills that they needed. They've taken out Spawn. They took out Nixera as well. And it's all down to Cone. It's gonna be able to find one though. Hellranger gets taken out. Still fairly healthy. Has the spike on him. If he could get the plant down, I think that's the best case scenario. But SK Rossi is already hot on his tail.
Indeed, Floki. And this is getting really, really juicy really, really fast. Because are you seeing how aggressive Global Esports is being? And they're being aggressive properly. They're not even like leaving any stone unturned. And they're being so surgically precise about it. Normally, when you see people coming up with aggression, you see them faltering, and like 1 or 2 players would go in for an aggression, and the others will like just stick back, and it sometimes doesn't work out for them. But Global Esports, they're just going with so much fury that Cohesion, they're just not being able to react to it. They're taking it a bit too slow, and they're not expecting the speed that Global Esports is coming out with.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best part was they waited for Lightning Fast to come and get the defuse, so he starts working towards that Cosmic Divide as well. Now you have a lockdown ready, you've got the Hunter's Fury, you've got the Empress. Over on the enemy team, yet to see that first run it back come into play. There is a Hunter's Fury and a From the Shadows available, but I doubt it's going to be popped this round, considering it's going to be an eco and just a bunch of sheriffs in the hands of Team Cohesion to try and deal some damage. At best, plant the spike down. It's gonna happen outside garage, and SK Rossi straight up goes out there, tries to take the fight, dismisses back out to safety. Well, the recon dot spots out another one, he gets that kill, he's backed off again. 40 HP to his name, looking to get the kill on spawn. Oh, well, looks like he's gonna get some help over from skills. Fired up, able to find Lightning Fast, but at this point he's all alone, just has a nice to his name. He's gonna get ran at by SK Rossi, who has absolutely no mercy whatsoever. Final knife remaining. Can't really do all that much. The confidence on SK Rossi extremely high.
Exactly what I wanted to point out. Like, look at this guy just peeking out a garage like nobody's business. And he's just like, yeah, I know there are 3 people there. There might be even 5, but I'm gonna take them all down. And boy, he's doing it. He's peeking. He's getting the kills. He's falling back. He's going back. And he's getting those kills. And this is exactly the SK Rossi that I love. And look at this. Already a KD of 8-2. I know that we were setting up this entire storyline for SK WoW versus SK Rossi, but damn, SK Rossi, he's just feeling himself today, man.
Absolutely is, and he's doing it on the arena, not something that we've seen him play all that often. Well, for the time being, it looks like it is going to be a mid push coming in from Cohesion. When all else fails, rush mid. Hellranger completely blinds up, fired up, doesn't dash away back to safety, so he's going to end up falling here. It's all going to be down to SK WoW, who has to run it back. Can make some space for his team on the B side if needed, but I mean, it's starting to get pinched on the map. They really haven't found any map control towards A. I mean, you can see Lightning Fast a little bit pushed up towards A long, and Kappa, he just spotted another player outside C. So they pretty much know that this is going to be a C hit coming in, and Kappa managed to get the kill on that run and back, protecting SK Rossi. But what the hell is that split coming in from Gold? Blows his head clean off. You know, they get a return kill in Hellranger. They managed to stabilize things over here, leaving Cole in a 1v3. But man, that shot was beautiful by this man.
But not just that, the entire team, I'm not really understanding. I'm not really sure what's going on, because the aggression that is coming out from Global Esports is just unfathomable. Like, look at this. Everybody's just going and having the time of their lives, and they're just jumping, and they're just locking out heads and deleting players off the server. Because I've seen Global Esports actually play really passively before, and I appreciated them for it before too. Because I love when a team plays more strategically, a little more, patiently, a little more passively. I mean, I like both, but Global Esports, they know how surgical, you're supposed to be, exactly where they're supposed to strike, exactly when they're supposed to fall back. But right now, this Global Esports is something that I don't get to see very often, and I'm so glad that I'm getting to see this, because when Global Esports get aggressive, boy, do they get aggressive. Like, look at that. SK Rossi
even daunting the fight of his player.
He just peeks out, gets the kill, dismisses it, and he's like, yeah, can't touch this. And he goes back, comes back, gets in there, kill, and he's gonna be picking up a couple more. And then it's just gonna be a clean win for Global Esports. Yes, he did go down, but the amount of damage that he did before he actually went out is just incredulous. Yeah, you can say that the opponents were on an eco, but still, SK Rossi is SK Rossi, and boy, that confidence with which he's going and the taunts in the face of Cohesion is just brutal, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he just stood there while he was dismissed, taunting them. What you can do about it? And just made his way back towards safety. Fired up, couldn't connect the shot, so he ended up surviving. And now, once again, you can see them just trying to put a round on board. Let's say it was going to be a little bit close, but it doesn't seem like Global Esports are sparing any quarter today whatsoever. I mean, the instructions are loud and clear. There's only one SK Rossi. And, well, that's all they really need. SK WoW, he's trying to push in, but that Narrow Swamp pushes him back. They let go of the Kill Royale. SK WoW, nice flash coming in, but SK WoW, he's still managed to invest him somehow. Korn will get the trade eventually, but the lockdown is coming through. Multiple players are going to be detained. No, it's just one. There's going to be skills towards the defender spawn area in heaven. Spawn did get taken out, and even though they managed to get on site, they don't really have control of this area. Hellranger is going to get caught off guard by Nightsera. He's the only one alive, and he's looking to plant that spike down as he hightails it towards C. Or is he going to go towards C? It's the bigger question. Could just turn around and go towards A, and that is what it seems like Global Esports are anticipating as well. But the spike is going to be planted on C. Kappa heard him. He's on his way to try and stop Nightzera from getting this round.
I don't really think that skills and Nightzera is going to be able to pull anything off. I still have hopes, but it's a 1v3 man against Global Esports. If he plays his cards right and if he manages to take them out one by one, he still could get it done. Kappa, we know him as Clutch Buzz, so that is a really, really risky player to be, you know, kept alive. He doesn't get a singular kill right now. It's going to be certain death for him. And now they know that Nightzera is over there, so they're just going to be leaving him be, going for the defuse, and Lightning Fast is going to be the one to take him down. 7-1 on the scorecards and Cohesion. They're not looking cohesive at all right now. And like I said, if Haven is not going to be their map, I don't think that, you know, Split is going to be their map either.
I mean, I wouldn't get so far. I haven't really seen Global Esports play all that much Split, so I'm going to hold back judgment. But I see where you're coming from. You know, it makes sense. I mean, Haven is one of those maps where you could be a little bit less disciplined and get away with it.
Yeah.
You don't really have to, you know, play to the dot. You don't have to dot your I's and cross your T's. But yeah, on Split you do. I wonder if it's gonna make all the difference. Hellranger getting a lot of information early on. Kappa as well spots out a couple of players and sees the recon dart being destroyed. Fight up gets tagged up. Can't really peek out now. That drone still looking to get some more information as it spots out another player, and Hellranger peeks out and blows Cone's head off. Fighting for situation already. Esports trying to sneak in from the garage area, but he is covered. They're gonna be A-okay. SK Rossi just pushing the W button at this point and just getting all the kills in the world. Nightzera, he's coming in from the backstab, has managed to get 2 kills, but this is not gonna be easy for him at all. Goes out straight into the layer of SK Rossi and gets cleaned up.
SK Rossi on the Reyna? I think I found something that I'm going to consider my hobby, watching more of this guy playing the Reyna, because he's just so good at it. Yes, I know you have your flashy jet moves and all of that, but playing Reyna is something to be, you know, admired, because you got to know exactly where to place your flashes, because if that is not going to be coming up in your opponent's queen, it's just not going to count as all. A lot of people think that it's kind of easy to play Reyna, but it is not. If you know how to look away from the leader and still manage to get your shots, then yeah, Reyna is kind of pointless. But SK Rossi, it looks like he has a lot of experience with Reyna, and I'm pretty sure he does, and I'm loving watching him play the character Reyna. It's been a while. Yeah, look at this. He's going to be aggressive yet again. Gets that gun spawn. Gets the second
down mid.
He's just holding down that mouse one button. Oh man, Nightzera just got blinded at the worst possible time there. Hellranger with the second blind as well, and they get him through the wall. Kappa is gonna find fired up, and I think this is gonna be a flawless round coming in from the side of Global as SK Wow, Marshall in his hands, looking to get a pick.
Oh no.
Switches over to the wrong thing. The hot hands comes out instead of the knife.
And honestly, I'm not really sure. This aggressive Global Esports, I don't get to see that often. And Cohesion were not ready for this. They were probably expecting Global Esports to be their normal, passive, surgical, you know, decisive self. But no, right now, SK Rossi is just having fun at the server. And they're not being able to push him back at all. They're trying, but I'm loving, you know what, can we appreciate the agent selection right now? Because it's working out so well for them. I've seen many people, almost every team, go for a duelist setup on the map of Haven. But no, these guys just went for one. And it's just working out so beautifully. Those utilities are coming out so amazingly. The smokes at the right time, the flash at the right time, and they're complementing each other's playstyles. And it's just poetry in motion. And look at this, SK Rossi already pushed up with the Empress, gets a kill, and gets a second on SK Wow's ultimate. In spite of SK Wow, you know, trying his best, he had to jump on him, but no, the spray just whiffed. But it's okay, he's gonna live to tell the tale for another day. But look at the confusion that is coming out. The attackers have taken control of the side, but Global Esports is taking back one by one. And there's nobody to support them. They're just spread apart, way too far apart, and it's all up to Spawn to clutch out the round. He saw Kappa over there, but he just didn't realize it, and he's just so confused at this moment. And Spawn, honestly, he couldn't like have better control of his mind. He honestly saw Kappa, and he probably just didn't notice it from the side of his monitor. Just continued down and is like, probably somewhere else. I'm just gonna find him down. And then suddenly bullets flying onto his back. He's like, what is happening? Poor guy is even more confused than I thought he'd be, but what can I say? Global Esports is just playing that way.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is starting to get a little bit one-sided as I see Lightning Fast pick up the operator. So the last player you'd expect to pick up that operator, but you know, it's coming out now. Hellranger's picked up the Odin. He's feeling himself as well. SK Rossi just very happy with his Phantom.
Get out of my way!
He's really looking to play to burst that Ultragear. No, but he's actually pushing out mid. My god, that recon that means every single player there. And SK Rossi, he's just looking to press W once again. Looking to find all the skills fired up. He's going to be able to find one with the help of the Knights. And SK Rossi going to be tucked into the corner, waiting for someone to pass spots out Niger and cleans them up. This is just the SK Rossi show at this point. Kappa letting go of the Hunter's Fury, hoping to find a couple of kills. No, that's actually Kone's Hunter's Fury.
Yep.
Being used over here. Kappa still has his ads ready, but he hasn't popped it just yet. And now, he's going to try and make their way towards mid.
Honestly, Floki, look at this. Fired Up is already on 5 HP, and they don't even have the economy, and this is the last round of the first half, and it's just not looking good for them right now. They have to pull off a miracle in the second half, otherwise it's just going to be game over for the first map. And like I said, my personal opinion, it's going to be, that is just tragic. That's just, he didn't expect that. We can't really blame the man. He's like, you know what, there's probably going to be no setup. He dashes in, there's like, confounded turret, and he's going to be going down. And there's nothing that Kone is going to be able to do, because the positioning of the stars is just so immaculate by Global Esports. Lighting fast. He's just, I love how the playstyle of every individual player, they just complement each other so well. The stars are the right places, the nanoswarms are the right places, and they just pop up at the right time. It's like an automated system, and it feels like the entire map is coming alive when Global Esports is on the field. It doesn't feel like they're setups. It feels like the entire map is living.
Yeah, I mean, that's, there's only one way to say it, you know? I mean, the entire map belongs to Global Esports. That's all I really have. Cohesion,
Okay,
they won one round in that entire half. So if they lose a pistol, they're down for.
True,
This game's just over. It's 11-1.
Yeah, that is just
And,
kind of disappointing. But look at this. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about SK Rossi right now. I feel like Reyna is a much better pick for him. Because off the bat, okay. I'm going to hold on.
You don't have to tell anything. I mean, they showed why it's a better pick. Okay, SK Rossi, he's going to delay that push successfully with the help of the hot hands as well as the curveball. Just slows them down a little bit, dinks away at SK Rossi, but Kappa with a shock dart is on point as he takes out SK Wow. And Lightning Fast looking to make some moves happen. Outside garage, able to get fired up as well, and now it's all down to good old Cone. Cone has used up his shock dart for now. And SK Rossi will get that kill. 12-1 in favor of Global Esports. Just one more round between them and victory.
Match point.
But yeah, this is what I wanted to say, Floki. Like, hear me out. I know that he's really good with the Jet, and I know you have to have really precise aim to play Jet, and I appreciate him for it. But think about it. Don't you think that he's better on the character of Reyna? Because you've seen how aggressive he gets. He doesn't use his dash most of the time to dash out. He uses it to dash into the face of the opponents, and that really throws the opponents off. And his aim is true. He always gets those kills. But now, he's just so in your face. It's like a different SK Rossi with that Reyna. He gets the kill, he dismisses, taunts them, goes somewhere else, gets more kills, and that dismiss, I'm pretty sure he's enjoying having that power in his hands, and he's just an entirely different man. But yeah, like I said, I don't know what I was gonna say. Spawn really couldn't do much in that scenario. He was holding it down alone, and he didn't even have the guns to play around with. Spectre's coming out from Global Esports, and it looks like a done and dusted deal. It's probably gonna be 13-1, and for the likes of for the likes of Cohesion, I was gonna say that it's not that great, but Cone is gonna be coming in clutch against Rike, and he's keeping the dream alive. He has to get 2 more kills with low HP. He might be able to pull it off, but I don't really think it's possible. No, Lightning Fast is gonna be as Lightning Fast as his name. This is gonna be rushing in and spraying him down with that Spectre. That's all they really needed to do. 13-1. Congratulations, Global Esports, but Cohesion, guys, you have to get your act back together, otherwise the second map, it's just gonna get that much harder. And I really hope that they do after like a small break. So maybe that's all they need. Maybe they just need to dust off their shoulders, get a little bit of Red Bull, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be all fixed up and fine.
I don't think so.
I'm being positive. I'm being optimistic.
I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I'm the guy who predicted that Cohesion could possibly take a map off of Global Esports, and they shouldn't be taken lightly. But here we are. 13-1 in favor of Global Esports. If anyone had any doubts about this team being on top, and you know, if they really are the best team in India, well, there you go. I mean, they should be quashed right about now. Cohesion, I mean, they probably one of the most promising looking teams out of the bottom 4 in this group. But even then, they weren't able to put a dent in global esports, and global esports just completely stopped them. We are gonna cut to a short break real quick and be back with the second map. It's gonna be split. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Don't go anywhere. Until then, you're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll be back with game number 2 in just a bit.
Hey, South Asia Valorant players, I'm Sean Garris.
It's Kusta.
And Michael from Genji Valorant here with some really exciting news.
We have teamed up with LG Ultragear and the Esports Club for Season 2 of the Gauntlet.
The winner of Tec Gauntlet Season 2 will receive an exclusive one-on-one mentoring session with our Valorant team to help identify areas of improvement in their game to prepare for a higher level of gameplay.
In addition to that, we're going to be reacting to some of the top plays throughout this competition. Guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so make sure you don't miss out on this. Good luck to everyone competing from everyone here at Genji Valorant.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. My name is Floki. Joining me for this one's going to be Quaint. Global Esports versus Cohesion. Global took the first game on Haven, 13-1, in a bit of a dominant performance, if I might add. And now we move on to Split, a map that I really haven't seen them play before. But maybe you can fill me in on that, Quaint. Have you had the opportunity to watch Global Esports play Split? And if yes, what did it look like? What did they do?
I feel like I'm probably mixing Global Esports up with some other team, but they have a really similar play style. Or I might have seen Global Esports play on the map of Split. But whatever it may be, whether it's like a similar playstyle team or if it's Global Esports, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be it was Global Esports that I witnessed. But they know how to like take advantage of the corners, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming out with many flash initiators or maybe like a Phoenix maybe, but I feel like it's going to be a Breach or a Sky again. And I'm pretty sure Cohesion is not going to be able to see anything coming their way even. I'm pretty sure they're going to be blinded most of the time, and it's just going to be fun to watch, and you just wait and watch. But anyway, we don't have to wait anymore because the agent selection screen is up, and we're going to be jumping straight into that to see who is going to be dominating and who's going to be picking what basically. And I'm expecting a Sky to come out for the side of Global Esports, but I'm not really sure. But Skills has picked up a Raze, something that I wasn't expecting really, and I don't really think that Raze has that much of a role on the map of Split. I mean, you can make do with a few other duelists too, but sure, why not? Then we're seeing Hellranger on the Omen. SK Rossi is going to be going back to his old school ways, and he's going to be picking up the Jet, and so is SK. Wow, now this is going to be interesting. Kappa, like I thought, He's going to pick up the breach, and he's going to be flashing the hell out of everybody. Lightning Fast picking up the Killjoy, and it's a pretty decent lineup on the side of Cohesion 2. We have an Omen, we have a Killjoy, we have a Sage, and then Raze. It's almost the same lineup except for the Sage. And I feel like I prefer Breach over Sage on the map of Split. So let's just see what's going to be happening.
Well, I am really curious to see how they end up playing this one out because they don't have the Sage. So I wonder what mid control is going to look like for the side of Global Esports. Cohesion having that Sage basically means they can wall mid up, they can play it very safely. But Global Esports, not as much. They probably gonna have to commit a few more agents to that general area and make sure that they're able to hold it off long enough so that they just don't outright lose mid control and end up getting split across the map, as the name of the map itself implies. So yeah, let's jump into the game and see what they're up to. I personally am very excited to see Kappa's Breach. It's been a while since I've seen Global Esports pick up that Breach agent, and yeah, it's gonna be fun blowing up the entire site to smithereens. On the other side though, on Cohesion, I do see them pick up the double Sentinel, double Duelist controller comp. So no initiators for them, no Sky, no Breach, and they're basically only gonna be playing with one single flash, and that is the Omen flash.
I'm not really sure whether I approve that, but to be honest, I like Global Esports' lineup better just because of that pickup off Breach on Kappa. Because in my opinion, yeah, you can have your ball and that's going to be pushing you off for like a little while, but that isn't going to be mattering much. But look at this. Nightzera off the bat, he's going to be landing a beautiful one-tap on the head of one of the players from the side of Global Esports. But Global Esports are coming in with Fury, and SK Ross is going to be taking out Nightzera. Frags coming out left, right, and center. I'm not really sure what is happening because it's taking a lot of time for all of the players to get their kills down, and it's just being a little confused, so to speak, so far. But it's fine. All's well that ends well, but it's not going to end well for SK Rossi because he goes in and overextends a bit too much and he's going to be taken out. It's all up to 2 players from the side of Cohesion to take back the side. But if any overextension is going to be coming in from Global, they're going to be taken out, and that's exactly what's going to be happening. 2 kills and another. Coolness is going to be finishing things off by taking his nemesis Braze in the form of skills. But look at this. I'm not really sure why Global Esports overextended. They had a site in their control. They didn't have a lot of help. They could have just held back. They could have chilled, waited for those pushes to come in, and they could have called it a day. They could have honestly gotten the run for themselves. But I think the success of the first map is honestly making them a little more overconfident than they should be, and I hope they're going to be waiting that in really soon.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit uncharacteristic for the side of Global Esports to lose out the pistol that way. The nade from Cone was really, really good. It actually ended up killing Kappa and doing a lot of damage to SK Rossi, so it split them up. And then the boombot on top of that just made sure that they couldn't really walk into the site despite that early pick off. Nyx is just gonna get stunned right off the bat, but fortunately no one pushed him yet, so he's still alive. And oh my god, skills, he force body picked up that Spectre for himself, and they're not respecting the side of Global Esports or on the side of Region at all, as SK found a pick. He's chasing SK Rossi, and SK Rossi just jumps away, tries to go back for the peak, but ends up getting cleaned out. As the side of Global Esports, they will get the spike down. They have a lot of utility remaining. Kappa is going to get cleaned up, but Skills is going to be there to get the trade. The crossfire is there from Global Esports, though, and Skills very, very healthy going up against SK now. Doesn't have all that much health. He's going to get cleaned up. And Global Esports, they answer right back. No hesitation whatsoever. They lost the first round, but they had the spike down, immediately forced by, and pulled the momentum back in their favor. Not even for a second are Cohesion allowed to be in the driver's seat.
Honestly, yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, I feel like Global Esports are becoming a little too overconfident, and that was a round in which they took a lot of damage. Yes, they didn't have the guns, and yeah, that's kind of acceptable, but it still was a lot of damage, and they gotta be careful, because yes, I'm liking this aggression that they have, but this is one of those maps where they have to be a little more passive, and if they might get away with aggression, but to what extent? But look at this, they are gonna get away with murder. An entire jet side as they're going to get kills left, right, and center. But SK, wow, still sticking to his guns, so to speak, like literally sticking with his judge and dishing out damage one by one. But Skills is not going to be having any of that against turns around and gets the kill on Nightzera. This guy is on fire, and Lightning Fast, he's kind of in a sticky situation right now because Fired Up is around the corner, but Fired Up has given away way too much information, and Global Esports is onto him. And here we go again, Loki. Global Esports and that aggression that we saw on map 1, they're back with it, and they're gonna dominate.
Absolutely. Great stuff coming in from Global Esports once again. A bit of a weird setup coming in. I can imagine it was an eco, so, you know, they weren't really concerned about their setup. They put the Jet on mid, which they have been doing for quite some time now. I wonder what the reasoning behind that is. I'm not too sure why the Jet's playing up towards B heaven. Usually you see that Jet playing towards ropes, but instead I see SKY constantly playing in that area. And, well, he has the knives at the ready. Maybe he's just trying to updraft and get a pick right off the bat, but Global Esports, mid control, what the hell is that? We're just gonna sprawl into him and all up breach utility, and they walk straight into Cone's Vandal, get completely demolished, and they still haven't dealt with SK Wow. All the Omen that's still there on the side spawn, still alive and kicking. Cone is gonna be able to get the kill on Lightning Fast and Hellranger. The only man alive is gonna get judged in the face. Boy, that was a quick round coming in from the side of Cohesion as Global Esports, they get completely dumpstered.
True. Judged in the face. Honestly, I think I'm gonna stick with that from now on. It kind of like gives me that vibe where you're in that entire theater with Death looking at you with like a paper in his hand, just writing your name down casually, and you know what you're gonna be facing. And honestly, what they didn't know was Fired Up was gonna be having that judge and popping straight in. He was basically the impersonation of Death.
Yep.
But
I mean, this is sort of what I talked about earlier. I figured this would happen. So they, instead of as soon as they figured out that there's no one on B, there's no one towards mid, and that fault line came out coming in from Kappa, they instantly knew that this is going to be an A rush. This time around, it's going to be SK Rossi to try and return the favor to SK Wow and the rest of his team as he's pulled out his own Blade Storm, looking to find a pick, and there you go, Spawn gets cleaned right up as SK Rossi creates the opening on A main with the spike. It's all the way towards outside B. Can they hold on long enough for this aggression from SK Rossi to make sense? Well, it doesn't matter. SK Rossi is just going to go on a killing spree. In the meantime, Kone is actually going to end up picking off Lightning Fast. Kappa gets the return kill, but he's paid for it dearly. Lost a fair amount of life. Has the Rolling Thunder. Could potentially push out again if he wants to. But for now, it's just going to use that Aftershock to try and delay the push coming in from them. The Pain Shells as well, just buying them all the space in the world to get that spike down safely. And now, it's all down to SQL and Nixera. SQL peeks out, takes Kappa's head clean off with the Vandal. Surgical precision on that one. And Nix is a little bit paranoid, doesn't know where they are, checking all his corners. You have to worry about SK Rossi, and SK Rossi shows his hand, reveals himself towards him, and goes up in the air. Skills steals his kill. Skills. Yeah, you can see SK Rossi a little bit mad. He shot at him as well. He's like, why did he take my 4K?
honestly, yeah. That's an F right there, man, but it's okay. I'm pretty sure you're going to be making up for it with an ace, and I'm pretty sure your teammates are going to be giving it to you. Or not, maybe they're in a playful mood. That may also happen. I've seen so many times that the team goes out of their way to not give the ace, because, you know, why not? But yeah, I don't get SK Rossi's aim. That guy's aim is just precise, and you know how you have a little bit of shake in your mouse in clutch situations? But this guy's aim never falters. It's like his hand is glued and he is calm 24/7, and that is quite an achievement and an impressive feat on top of that. And SK, wow, he's paying the price for it. He's there down mid. He knows there's a push coming in from mid. Tries to get a shot, but doesn't manage to. Fired Up is going to be picking up the slack and getting the kill in lightning fast. Anyway, Hellranger, he has to pick up a kill right now, but he's going to be denied by that wall. But Nike, cheeky little guy over there, peeks out at the right time, and Skills was not expecting that. He thought that everybody's going to be distracted over towards the heaven side, but no. Nike peeks out at the right time, gets the kill. Cone, he's aware of the push coming in from SK Rossi and Kappa over there. I'm not really sure if you can expect SK Rossi to swing and get him down. That was really, really close, and SK Rossi could have potentially died over there, but no, a little bit of whiff coming out from the side of Cohesion means that SK Rossi is going to be living, and keeping SK Rossi alive is... it's not going to be working out well for you. Spawn over here picks up a kill on Kappa. The Clutch Meister is down, but Hellranger is going to get an equal trade. And it's a 2v3 right now, which is decent, and it still is manageable. And they've got the spike back under control. But SK Rossi, the fragger, is going to go down, and it's all left up to Hellranger to get the kills. And he knows they can't risk it by going out on the side. He has to play with the smokes. He has to play a game of shadows and mirrors, of smoke and mirrors, and he has to get the kills, or else he is going to be killed.
Yeah,
he's right there, and...
there.
oh, that timing was just unfortunate. He was so expecting somebody to be holding that corner, and SK wow was, but he peeked out at the wrong time and he paid the price for it.
I mean, there's really not much he could have done in that situation. He basically trapped himself there inside his own smoke, right? I mean, if he goes out towards there, he has to worry about ropes. If he goes towards the back of A, he has to worry about screens. He goes back towards side, he has to worry about A main. So everywhere he stepped, pretty much, it was going to be death all around him. It's a matter of guessing, and well, he guessed incorrectly with absolutely no information. Can't really blame him for that, but Yeah, this round, hopefully it's a little bit different. They
This
have
is-
the act already.
This is, well, honestly,
Okay, a little bit of an aggressive play coming in from Fired Up there. Kuwait, he got taken out. This means there's
and yeah,
no resurrection.
sure that got
Nothing at all.
buys gonna be worse.
No, there's
Yeah.
push down.
Some of them, but yeah.
Bait just come
Spike
through.
down.
SQ, I was able to get that kill. Oh my god, Gold blows up lightning fast with the help of that showstopper. Kills though.
I got
He's
the
not
spike.
saying die just yet, and SK Rossi skills the dynamic duo is alive, and SK wow whiffs. SK Rossi punishes. Spawn is also gonna get cleaned up, and the
What is
spike
this
will be planted for
confusion?
the
Like,
extra
they're-
money.
They're just pushing out of themselves. Not really sure, but this is like. Not really sure if my internet is dying or if yours is, but whoever's it is, kind of causing a discord right now. But yeah, that was such an explosive round, and it didn't
Yeah.
turn out the way I thought it would be. Like, I really thought that Global Esports they were gonna get the site, but then it was gonna be taken out. But no, it's just instant kills left, right, and center. It turned into a deathmatch for a few split seconds over there.
Yeah, it sure did. I mean, that was pretty hilarious. I mean, in a span of less than 5 seconds, we saw like what, 4 or 5 kills? Well, Spawn is gonna counter flash with the paranoia. Oh no! The worst timing possible for Kuhn as he pulls out that paint shells and gets blown up. SQR, where are you gonna go? Well, he goes back, but Skills is there to go forward to clean him up. Fired up. Also gets cleaned up by Lightning Fast. Kappa being the entry fragger himself, not very successful, but Hellranger is there for the trade, and Nixera with the Sheriff in his hands is gonna try and do something. Just gives up on life as he stops firing at Lightning Fast, who jump peeked him with the Vandal.
Okay. Again, that is another F moment right there. And honestly, you would never expect the Sheriff's like recall in the spread to be that high close range. And I've relied on it so many times too. I'll just start spraying at the center of the screen, hoping that some of those bullets are gonna be landing, but no. You're just gonna get really, really betrayed by that Sheriff, and he wasn't really expecting that. So many whip shots by both though. The entire spray went somewhere else by Lightning Fast.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, the way they're playing with this Breach and Raze on Global Esports, it's just completely destroying the side of Team Cohesion. Nixera holding that corner, but Skills, he's diligent. He's going to check that and Fired Up. Even though he found the trade, they have control of side Global Esports. Oh, just a bunch of Sheriffs that they're working against here. SK Rossi gets shot a little bit, but survives for the time being. Is still alive. Kappa is making sure that no one can really push out from that smoke towards defender spawn. Just trying to protect that spike as Skills. The Nanostorm goes out, and that's going to buy them a lot of time.
Cap has that flash ready, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be doing a lot of distraction, putting up a lot of distractions, but let's see if it's going to be counting, but no. Spawn is going to be pushing out and getting SK Rossi. SK, wow, on his turn, comes in with his Blaze Arm, gets Lightning Fast, and it's another bloodbath here. It's all left to Spawn to flush things out, but he can't really do much with that Sheriff, can he? Tries his best, but Kappa is going to be taking him down. I was really expecting that flash to come out on, the alleyway area coming from Kappa, but he did use his flash elsewhere and it worked out for them. But yeah, they lost a few more lives in the process. But yeah, you win some, you lose some, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Kappa, he almost died there, unfortunately, but the Rolling Thunder really bought him so much time there. And I'm really just glad to see a Breach Ult being used right off the bat. You know, it really, really makes me happy. It wasn't the case a little bit earlier today. You know, the Breach Ult was being held for quite a while, but hey, this time around, it's popped, so...
Yep, now look at the scorecards. It's back to a 3-6 and Global Esports are in the lead again, but Skills just unfortunate with his timing, and Spawn is going to be shutting down that party. Raze is not going to be able to pop that party, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be the rest of Global Esports coming and taking the kills for themselves. They're furious for that loss that they had, but an instant rotate coming in from SK Rossi. I'm not really sure what they're planning on right here, but there's no specific execution. I'm not seeing a proper, take, but they're just going in for mind games and just pulling off of the confusion off of their opponents, and it's working out for them. But at the same time, it's boiled down to 2 players. Hellranger tries to get 1 kill at least, but no. Spawn is going to be shutting down Global and Esports in its entirety. Puts up the 4th round for themselves, but I don't really think that's going to be enough, because on the map is split at least. I feel like if you're smart enough, the defense side should be easier for you, and considering how they're non-leading, that's my opinion at least.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that you have to remember that Global Esports don't really have that, how should I say this, that prime sentinel to hold down mid. They don't have a Sage. They don't really have the ability to literally slow down pushes if needed. all they really have is a killjoy. So the offensive potential, while it doesn't look all that good on paper for the side of Team Cohesion, you have to remember just the fact that you don't have a sentinel can make push super easy. Just a couple of smokes.
But you know what's...
Turret's destroyed.
But the thing is, you know what's interesting though? The moment you see the agent selection screen and you see that breach come up, you know that aggression is going to come out. And I feel like, you know, Cohesion should have predicted that. But look at this. The breach and the entirety of the team, Kappa and his buddies, are just going to go out and kill everybody. It's not even a game at this point. It's just murder left, right, and center. And they've wiped out the entirety of Cohesion. And it's all up to Cone. And SK Rossi over here is going for the hunt, but goes in onto the wrong side and gets taken out by Cone. But now he's cornered, and there's only a little that he can do. Tries to get one kill, but Hellranger is going to be shutting him down. But yeah, that's what I was saying, right? When you see that breach coming in, and you know there are going to be a lot of flashes. You know it's going to be aggressive, and you know it's going to be fast. And since you don't have a sentinel, like you said, you can't really control that mid area or any area for that matter. All you have are smokes to work around with. So you really have to think on your feet, and you can't really stagnate in any place for too long. And it's working out beautifully for Global Esports because today they're not in any passive mood, and I really think that that's why they picked up the breach.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're just looking to win this outright by sheer will and strength.
Yeah.
Constantly blowing up the side of Team Cohesion. Unfortunately for Cohesion, not a lot of money on board. Cone has a showstopper, and he guessed incorrectly. No one outside aiming, just a shorty to lose with now. That showstopper is not missing. He actually Rossi whiffed that up completely. And SKO cleans him up, but Kappa's there to get the trade fired up. He's going to be able to take out the skill. The later pushed for a little bit, but Lightning Fast is also going to get taken out. Kappa, the only hope for them to try and take the side fired up is going to get cleaned up. Hellranger trying to sneak in from mid, but Spawn's waiting there. He has the judge at the ready. Does he spot him out? Yes, he does. He's going to try and tag him up, but the judge is very strong in that range and Spawn. He's going to be able to get the kill. It's all down to Kappa. Spike has been dropped at mid, and he is in a world of trouble. The breach by himself? Yeah, the word clutch doesn't come to mind when you see this.
No, this is going to be an interesting round because it's not going to be 4-8 anymore. It's the last round of the first half, and it's looking like it's going to be a 5-8. But look at this, Kappa, unaware that Omen is right there. He's going to get taken out by that judge, or so I thought. But no, Kappa is just too quick for me. And Spawn takes him out. He's going to be looking for a few more kills. 1v2 is still possible, but he's picking up his utilities at the wrong time. When you know that Cody is right around the corner, you're not really supposed to pull out your utilities because you know you're going to get pushed.
Switching sides.
Well, it's fine. He took a risk, and it really didn't pay him off that well, but it's still fine.
Oh, yeah.
It was a calculated risk at that. But the scorecard, the scoreline is what I want to talk about. 5-7 is not that bad of a scoreline, but if it were the other way around, if you were in the attack side and it was a 5-7, I would have still understood. But no, the lead is now in the hands of Global Esports, and on the defense, I feel like just because they have the breach and they don't have a sentinel, they're not going to be taking a lot of mid control. It's going to be maybe one or two players, probably the breach himself, playing down mid, getting information as much as they can, and falling back, playing for rotates and retakes, really.
The breach is a lot better as an on-site agent, so I doubt it'd be him going there. I think SK Rossi is probably enough to just get some information towards mid, and then they can play very defensively from A heaven and B heaven. I mean, that's usually the strategy you go for when you don't really have a Sage on your team. A boom bot and a sentry gun right on top of Hellranger right off the bat. He lets go of the paranoia. The paint shot is under him. He's just trying to get as many kills as he can. No, it's actually not a problem. He's still gonna survive. Kappa peeks out, gets a lot of damage, but doesn't get a kill. Gets cleaned up by a SK. Wow. And there you go, the rain of bullets comes through from the smoke, and Cone is going to be able to clean up Hellranger, who's trying to act a little bit cheeky. We can do that too, to say the side of Cohesion. They do it well. 3v4 now, in favor of the side of Team Cohesion, but they don't have heals, so pretty much playing with two nearly dead agents. Just one healthy killjoy.
They're playing a really risky tactic right now. They're waiting for Global Esports to push in, considering how aggressive they've been playing. But little did they know that they were going to be... they just walk right into Skills' pain shells, and they're just going to be taken out simultaneously. In just a matter of a few seconds, Floki, how quickly does a round really turn around? I really didn't really expect that, but that timing by Skills was just perfect.
I mean, that was insane coming in up from Skills. That paint shell just completely destroyed the side of Team Cohesion, turning that round on its head. Hey, if you ask me who my MVP was, it's not even a player. It's the paint shells. Well,
honestly,
yeah, it seems that Global Esports team, and they are at a disadvantage. It's you who needs to be aware.
Indeed. And look at this. Global Esports, since they've won that round out, they have the economy going for sure. A few Spectres, but is it going to count? And yeah, it is. But there's an equal trade coming out with those guns over there. But look at this. Kappa's just going to be S-ing it. He's just going to be holding his S button and getting the kills for himself. And he turns around, gets the flash, tries to get spawn, tries to be a little cheeky, turns around, but he's going to be getting taken out anyway. Cone over here, trying to help his buddies out, gets a couple of kills for himself, picks up that Spectre, and boy, they're moving. They're on the move. The Sage is still alive, so the heals could still come through. But it's going to be really risky. Exactly, and he's just waiting for them to pop out, but he doesn't have a long-range gun, but he does have a judge. Are we going to see a jump and kill? But no, it's just going to be individual taps coming to the head from heaven. For the first time, am I seeing the judge being played long range, and Hellranger has his work cut out for him. It's just going to be a few bullets, and Kone is going to be going down just like that. And it's just going to be an easy defuse for him, meaning that the 9th round is going to go to Global Esports, Floki. And what a time to be alive, because it's just a few more rounds, and they're going to be tasting the sweet, sweet taste of victory.
What is Hellranger doing? I think he's going to get a gun. Did they buy a Phantom or a
I don't
Valorant?
think
He's
so.
going back for the judge. Okay,
Oh,
that
boy.
is very interesting. Well, I'm
Pretty sure in the comms, yeah.
Yeah,
somebody
Cohesion has
just
caught
went
on to that. They're probably going to be a little bit aware and going to be checking all their corners after that.
Exactly. And then I'm pretty sure it was who was using the judge again. I'm pretty sure he just went like, yeah, I know you have a Spectre, I know you that's a really good gun, but can you please just quickly go back and get my judge? Because
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Lightning Fast, honestly, I didn't really expect that long range fight coming out from with that judge, but boy, he managed to make it count. And it should have been an easy kill for Cohesion, but somehow they faltered. They really shouldn't have peeked him that hard, and they had 2 players, but still. But look at this, SK Rossi with an operator. He's feeling himself and he's feeling confident. He's going to be holding down that mid position alone, but he's going to be missing that first shot, and that means he's going to be pushed and taken out. SK Wow is going to be the one taking out his brother. And goes in for a second and takes out Kappa. The 2-star fraggers are going to be taken out by SK Wow, but he, in turn, with skills his paint shells. Yet again, you're right, he is the MVP. Not him, I'm sorry. The paint shells are the MVP of the entire game. And honestly, they're just turning the rounds around so quickly in a matter of a few seconds. But look at his skills. He has the judge in his hand, so any push in coming in from the smoke means that he's going to be getting the kill. But no, it's going to be a vent push anyway. And Skills is trying to get a few kills before they go out of his sight, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much. Nanoswarm is going to be coming in any time right now, but Skills, he has to run through the Nanoswarm, tries to get the kill, but no. Nice, Sarah's Nanoswarm is going to be doing the work for him. And oh wow, what a flurry of information I had to like process right there. But it's almost like Cohesion this is one of those rounds where they're just feeling it and they know exactly what they have to do at the right time, and it just works out for them one after the other.
Yeah, I mean, Cohesion, they really made that round work. SK Rossi just never dashes away, you know? I mean, sometimes it pays off, other times it's just like, I mean, you know, it's fairly obvious how you could have lived there. But then again, we wouldn't have SK Rossi without the bad stuff either, right? So that's what makes him unique. Well, this time around, SK Rossi is not really gonna have that operator in his hands, and Hellranger opens things up with a bloody headshot right to SK Wow's dome.
That must hurt. That must definitely hurt.
I mean, he's dead, so it definitely hurt.
But at least it was a quick and painless headshot test, so I guess it's fine. But honestly, I'm pretty sure he's mad right now. He's just banging his mouse over there. It's like, how did he even land that? He got away with murder. Like, he shouldn't have gotten that kill because he had a sheriff, and it's proper buy from Cohesion. But in a matter of a few seconds, he just gets that kill, and it's going to be a B push coming in from Cohesion, but I don't really think it's the wisest of ideas because it's set up by Global Esports here right now. It's not that bad, but no! Hellranger peeks out at the wrong time and gets taken out, and Cone, being the aggressive guy he is, gets a kill, but Skills is going to be answering back with his own ultimate, gets an equal trade, gets an equal kill, he balances out to the best of his, the playing field to the best of his skills, so to speak, but it's still a 2v3, and the Spike Clan is going to be coming in. It's looking really, really good for Cohesion right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, no weapons available here for Killjoy. We're gonna have to play with that classic itself. Spawn gonna be able to take out Kappa. Lightning Fast with a classic and a dream. Not gonna succeed. Gets cleaned up right then and there. And Cohesion, they put up their second round on offense. Great stuff by Cohesion so far, but now the true test comes through. you've got all the weapons available on the side of Global Esports. No operator just yet, so you don't have to be worried about that. But even then, Global Esports, I bet they're going to play this a lot differently than they've been playing these past few buy rounds.
And it's surprising. I really thought that Cohesion would be playing better on the map of Haven, but clearly not. They were just better on the map of Split. I feel like for them, it is, advantageous for the smaller maps because they like to play without giving much, putting much thought into their executions. They just play it by their feeling, and I've seen a lot of teams do that, and it works out really well for them, but it never works out in the long range maps because they had to think it through a lot. But look at this. SK Rossi, the only one left on site, tries to duke it out, tries to get a few kills before it's going to be taken out. But on the other hand, Lightning Fast, living up to his true name, gets 3 kills for himself, and Skills with a singular spray picks up 2 kills. And that's pretty much it. 3 + 2, 5. That's just quick math right there, Floki.
Rolling Thunder, what an ultimate. Blows everyone up on that A side. So good for retakes. Kappa on point with that. And yeah, all Skills had to do was hold down mouse 1 and control it. A very happy game of point and click adventure. Let's have a quick look at the scoreboard. You'll notice that despite the side of Team Cohesion being down, Cone is on 20 kills. This man, I mean, he has been in the spotlight since the last game. Pretty much every single game that I've seen Cohesion play, he's always fragging out, but yes, it's just not enough. Well, Lightning Fast is going to find the first kill. Is actually moving forward to try and find some more picks. I don't think they're going to anticipate this. And yeah, Lightning Fast is gonna back off for now. Gonna let go of the lockdown. Make them look mighty silly as a spike gets planted. There's only one corner remaining where you can go. SK Rossi, fine spawn as he's using from the shadows. Who's going to take out Skills, but SK Rossi is there to clean them up. And they're all about to be detained. They're all trying to leave, and it's just Nikes that are remaining in the corner. Gonna be cleaned up as well. As the side of Global Esports completely demolished Cohesion once again. The A main rush being punished.
I love how Global Esports is in such a flanky mood today. They're like, yeah, I know we had the front door, but what's the fun in using the front door, right? Might as well use the back one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they don't even knock on your front door. They just break it down. The breach comes, kicks it open, stuns you, and shoots you in the face.
Pretty much uninvited guests, right? Yeah, what can you do about them, right? Like once they know that your back door is always going to be left open, they're always going to be abusing that.
Absolutely. Well, for now, Global Esports, they are gonna guess that it's gonna be a bit of a B rush coming in. So they've put in 4 players. They have a thankfully great setup coming in from Killjoy as Lightning Fast. He's made sure that all his nanostorms are gonna prevent them from straight up walking into A main. That alarm bot's gonna help him know when they're actually coming in. The nanostorms popped. Well, they don't get in as easily, and you can see they're trying to creep their way up A main. Third time's the charm, they say. Let's see if that actually is the case. No, it does not seem like it is. SK Bao is going to be able to find 1 kill, but gets cleaned up by Nikes as he shot square in the head. The resurrection comes through from Fired Up, and SK Rossi holding on to heaven for now. Has Phantom in his hands. Okay, and Skills is there on the flank as well. The Boombot and the Pain Shot is going to create so much space for him. Going to use the Satchel to try and take the fight, but Kappa comes in the nick of time. Ends up getting stunned there. I'm not even sure. Probably ended up stunning his own teammate if he lived, but yeah, they're gonna be able to clean up. And once again, the third time is not the charm. Just 1 more round to go between Global Esports and complete domination. And Team Cohesion, yeah, they've struggled, Quaint. I mean, sure, they've had a few rounds here and there, but for the majority of the series, they really haven't been the ones who've dictated the tempo of this game.
Honestly, yeah. And that's exactly why we see them winning out like maybe 1 map out of a BO3, and that's pretty much it. They honestly have to get their act together because they've got so much potential, and these names, I've heard them for so long, and they've been in the entire esports industry, not just Valorant, for so long. I'm just expecting a lot from them, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be delivering once they're like used to their current roster, but until then, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be Nikes that are cheekily just watching that backstab, but he's gonna lick SK Rossi push it and get kills for himself. Why? That was kind of a bait right there, Nike, and you should really have saved your buddy boys out there. But
Nikes actually didn't know the paranoia came through at that point, so he had no idea that there was actually a player who went directly from in front of him, because you don't even get the sound cues, right? So really got not much to get done there. Hellraiser holding on to that corner. Doesn't matter if he's gonna be detained. Well, he's not even gonna get detained because it has been destroyed. by Lightning Fast. And now it's all down to fight. I'm looking to spray them down, almost connecting on the second one. But only does 80 damage and falls. That's Global Esports. They take the map 13-7 and they take the series 2-0. Cohesion just not ready for the storm. That was Global Esports. Boy, that was a spanking of the highest magnitude. Let me just
Honestly,
put it that way.
I want to put it more like an entire orchestra in perfect harmony is what Global Esports is. I really want to say that because like you see a lot of teams go in with aggression, but they're playing individually. But these guys, I think they're the only team, or at least one of the very few teams who I've seen going in with aggression in perfect unison. Like you expect like a flank coming in from somebody else, one of your teammates, and yeah, you're just waiting for them to pick up a few kills. But no, this person is coming in and he's using the utilities to help the person on the actual main entrance. And that is just beautiful. And it's
let me just add on to what you're saying so you can maybe put it a bit more succinctly. I think what you're trying to say is that the layering of their ability usage is what's so potent. Every single time you actually see them execute, you'll notice that Hellraiser doesn't smoke right off the bat. What would you actually notice in your pubs? You know, they say, oh yeah, we're going to do an A take, so, you know, I'm just going to throw out a smoke here, I'm going to throw out a smoke here. Then the initiator starts using their abilities, and by that time, the defenders are already halfway there to the site. Not Global Esports. They don't give a sign saying that, oh, we're here and this is where we're going to go. They throw out the smoke. As the smoke is being thrown out, the stun goes through. The flash goes through, a person dashes in, smokes at the back of screens, and then they execute over that A main site. They're just so well put together. The layering of the ability usage is what separates Global Esports from all the other teams. That's why they're a cut above the rest. If they actually broke down the way Global Esports played, this is what they would notice. I mean, they never smoke without purpose. They never ever, use any sort of utility in a way that is meant to just bait someone out. No, they use the utility in a proper fashion. They make sure they use it in tandem with all the other agents and create beautiful openings for themselves that only they themselves can do. And I have to say, I mean, we need to have a look at the replay to see what has happened so far in this game.
Honestly, but yeah, I guess we're not going to get the luxury of watching the match highlights. But yes, we are going to be jumping straight into the analyst test, and we will talk about this more in the analyst test. But until then, just give us a little bit of time. You guys also can go take a short break, pick up a few cans of Red Bull. Like I always say, they honestly give you amazing energy. And really try out the acai berry and try the peach flavors. They're just amazing. But yeah, until then, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back.
Hey, South Asia Valorant players, I'm Sean Garris.
It's Kusta.
And Michael from Genji Valorant here with some really exciting news.
We have teamed up with LG Ultragear and the Esports Club for Season 2 of the Gauntlet.
The winner of Tec Gauntlet Season 2 will receive an exclusive one-on-one mentoring session with our Valorant team to help identify areas of improvement in their game to prepare for a higher level of gameplay.
In addition to that, we're going to be reacting to some of the top plays throughout this competition. Guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so make sure you don't miss out on this. Good luck to everyone competing from everyone here at Genji Valorant.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The analyst is here. These two guys had to make a short jog from the caster desk over here one more time for the last game, ladies and gentlemen. And I honestly am reminding you this over and over again. This is the last game of the entirety of the brackets. And it's been a long journey, but this is the final closing chapter for a lot of these teams, especially for the side of Team Cohesion, because they just didn't make the cut and head on down over onto playoffs. But hey, we are back here with the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. And honestly, from the very start up till the very end, I do believe that Global Esports, they had pretty much an easy going throughout the entire game. But map number 2, I do believe that Cohesion, they made them sweat a little bit. So let's head on down over towards the map video screen to check out the score lines. And I want your thoughts on the very first map here, Loki. What really went wrong for Cohesion? Because that was a map picked up by them, and it was 13-1. Question.
Spell it out for you. SPANKING. That's basically what happened. Global Esports, much like the headmasters of schools back in the olden days, just decided to dish out some good old corporal punishment to the butts of Team Cohesion, just reminding them who's boss and who's daddy. And I have to say, they really did show them. I mean, you pick up Haven against Global Esports, a map that Global Esports have played a lot of in the past. I mean, what are you really expecting? I mean, in some way or form, I understand that, if there's a map that you've practiced and there's a map that you want to play, you're probably going to play that over something else. But you have to know that if you're picking Haven into Global Esports, it's not going to be easy. You have to be ready for the things they do and sort of adapt. Cohesion, it just seemed like it wasn't their day today. I mean, sure, Split looked a lot better. But yeah, ever since they got destroyed 13-1 on that first round, I feel on that first map, I feel like they just somewhere in the back of their mind, they were still sort of trying to recover from the loss of game 1, because it just didn't seem like they were on point today mentally. I mean, I can understand that to an extent, but then again, I mean, they just sort of brought it upon themselves, didn't they? They just picked up Haven. They weren't really able to frag out at all. And I don't even remember if any member from Team Cohesion actually crossed double digits in terms of kills. Maybe Cone might have, but yeah, I don't think apart from those 1 or 2 players, they were actually able to get more than 10 kills.
The questions are going to be answered soon as we head on down over towards the scoreboard. But moving on down the line here, when you talk about the match, I completely agree with you there. It was a little bit too harsh, to say the very least, to watch. SK Rossi seemingly was just a better SK brother in this situation. He was tapping heads a lot more, and SK, wow, it feels like he didn't show up at all throughout the entire game. He's just having such a bad off day. He was not able to lift his team up on his back for a lot of these different scenarios. We expected him to perform a lot better, but SK Rossi on this rain on the first initial map just was an incredible force that they couldn't stop. He was just feasting on everyone. Their souls were his to take. There was no one to stop him from taking it away. Just look at this round. SK Rossi, he's just popping heads. He doesn't care. He's on mid. He's on mid, man. And he's just popping around and swinging corners and just tapping heads casually like it's nobody's business. And as we head on down over to the scoreboard here, Loki, you already have your answers. 12,
Yeah.
264 for Cone. He's the only one who actually crossed double digits. Cone performed well, but what do you do here?
I'm not sure. I guess you just roll over and die. I mean, after that, I mean, that's basically what they did on map number 1. They pretty much had very little impact. And yeah, it just kind of sucks to see them get demolished this way, because in all honesty, I was expecting a lot more from Team Cohesion. When I actually saw them on Split, that's the kind of Team Cohesion I wanted to see on Haven, but it just seems that they have a history with this map. I've almost always seen Cohesion pick up Haven, and it has always gone south for them.
Yeah, now as we do head on down over to the map of Split here, Quaint, I want your breakdown from start up till the very end. What do you think went wrong for Cohesion, and what do you think went right for Global Esports? We already know what went right for Global Esports, but hey, we need to clarify it just a little bit.
Honestly, where do I begin? Is it the fact that Cohesion never expected such aggression coming out from Global Esports in spite of them picking up a breach? Or is it because that they didn't, couldn't really fall back at the right time? Because, yeah, Global Esports were just there. Like a second earlier, Spawn is just standing there inside, and a second later, SK Rossi is right up in his face. And honestly, there were a lot of judge plays that I saw, which was really interesting. But look at this, just look at this. SK was literally trying to hunt his brother down at this point. It's like, you know what? You're not getting away from me. Not this time. He gets a kill and he lives to tell the tale for another day. But this is the thing, Aggressive. The entire aggression that Global Esports came out with, like, they were really flank happy the entire map. And on the defense, yes, Cohesion could pull off a few rounds, and it was really up to the economy at some points, and they could get the aggression right from their end. And it's kind of a small map, and they can work around with it. And the judge paid off dividends for them. But that's pretty much it. Once it comes to the defense, they were not expecting the backdoor to be left open. They were not expecting somebody to use that open backdoor even. But boy, Global Esports, they went in for flank almost every time. But Cohesion, they were just not understanding it. They were not being able to counter that pincer coming in from Global Esports. And before you know it, just like lambs left out for the slaughter, just like in their pen, they're just waiting for their deaths as Global Esports closes in on them and just start getting kills one by one.
Yeah, the level of adaptability just wasn't there for Cohesion, and it felt like they were running a little bit too short. Yes, they were able to understand what Global were planning on a couple of the rounds, but then as soon as Global switched everything up, it took them 2 rounds, sometimes even 3 rounds, to understand how they would actually counteract their opposition. And by that time, Global, they were making the score wider and wider every single time. And right at the very end, it was just a little bit too little too late. 13-7 on the scorecard just shows you exactly what went wrong for them. The compositional advantage was there as well, of course, but at the same time, the confidence factor just was not present. And now, Floki, I want your thoughts. What do you think went wrong for Cohesion? Do you agree with Quaint, or was there another outlier of a problem that caused Cohesion to lose out so badly here?
I think Cohesion got a little bit ahead of themselves. They just tried to rush here a couple of times. I think it was 4 times in a row after they got shut down by Global Esports and their setup. They didn't really do enough diligence to try and correct for their mistakes that they were initially making. And I feel like if you keep rushing without really trying to focus on what went wrong and correcting for what went wrong, then yeah, you're just gonna keep getting shut down. Now I can understand where that thought came from. If you look at this round and you look at what Global Esports were doing, even though they didn't have a Sage, their mid control was really solid. Kappa gets a bunch of kills over here, and he's able to make sure that his team has the big man advantage that they need to work this round out. But at the end of the day, I mean, if one place doesn't work for you and you go to another place and that doesn't work for you either, you don't throw in the towel like most teams and be like, well, I guess it's the only move we have, guys, and this is all we're going to do for the rest of the game. I mean, you still have to sort of try your best to analyze, and yeah, those are the MVP
that feels bad, man. That's the feels bad ever.
Yeah.
It's 2 kills and then dies to a paint shell. And like, I'm pretty sure that I was writing in chat, someone needs to sign those paint shells, man. Those paint shells are getting so much work done.
Oh yeah, those paint shells were really good. But as I was saying, it wasn't the defense that I really had a problem with from Team Cohesion. It was their offense. I mean, there were mistakes that they made on defense too, but for the most part, it was satisfactory. Compare that to their offense, they were lacking severely. If you going up against a team that has no Sage, and you're trying to take a lot of map control, especially against agents like against proactive agents like Breach and Raze. You have to be a bit more diligent. You have to be a little bit slower with your approach. You can't go in guns blazing with 3 footsteps blaring. You are going to get flashed out. You are going to get boom botted in the face. And that's just sort of what happened. I'm 100% sure, though, if Cohesion actually took their sweet time and then tried to make a play onto the part of the map based on what information they had off of their lurks, this would be a very different game. We could potentially even see a 3rd map. But unfortunately, that just wasn't on the cards today. And guess what? Skills was actually the MVP for this match. I'm not too surprised after.
His paint shells were the MVP, man, not him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's insane stuff, to be honest. Usually you don't see him there, but looks like that final MVP spot, or rather that final MVP standing, it's going to be taken away by Skills. SK Rossi was hoping for his 7th one, but yeah, Skills just took the limelight today.
Yeah, Skills is one of those players that are going to be able to show up all of a sudden, especially when he's on his raise. He is just a force to be reckoned with every single time. But at the same time, let's talk about the side of Cohesion a little bit more, because Cone, just look at this guy. He's been having a really good day. Map number 1, he was able to pull off 13 on the Sova, mind you. And in map number 2, put himself on that raise, and he's able to get 23 for himself. 319 ACS. He's the only one that was really able to shut down the side of Global Esports. But the saddest story of it all was that SK Wow, he just was not able to show up here, Quaint, and I don't really know what went wrong here for him.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either, but I'm still glad that Cone was able to step up and he got a lot of kills for himself. But yeah, SK Wow, he was just not feeling it today. He was. I don't really think that it's even up to that. They just didn't expect what global esports had in store for them because normally, like I said, global esports, I've seen them being like super passive, super strategic, and today was not one of those days because they were strategic, but with an entirely new aggression. And I love seeing this set of global esports. So Cohesion, I can't really blame them because yes, they've had an on again, off again relationship with their win streaks, but then right now I was really having a lot of high hopes for them at least on the map of Haven. But I don't really think that they expected global esports to come out with those rushes. I never did either. And boy, it was quite a treat, but it wasn't a treat for Cohesion at all because they just couldn't counter that. And they were being flanked always. They were being pincered, and they were left in situations just waiting for that to happen because they couldn't really do anything at that point of time because they're stuck in such a small place and they have to set up so many crossfires because of global esports coming in and taking them down one by one like flies trapped in a box. I just think the only thing that they should have done a little more different was a speed. They should have taken control of the sites a little bit quicker, being a little faster to decide on a particular site. And I think that they could have gotten away with a lot more many rounds or maybe even a win on a particular map.
Yes, saddest story for the side of Team Cohesion. They were just not able to make the cut and, you know, get a couple of brownie points from the viewers back at home who are going to be much more hopeful for them to come back even stronger in season number 3, ladies and gentlemen. But as we do head on down over towards the group standings to close off the final chapter for the brackets, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the group stages are already done and dusted here, Floki. Global Esports on number 1, Team EXO on 2nd, Valor on 3rd, and Force One on the 4th. It's kind of what we expected, but at the same time, FS falling a little bit short here. I think that in season number 3, they're going to be pulling off something real spicy when you consider the roster changes coming on down through soon.
Oh yeah, I have to say, I mean, FS and Orglass 5 really stood out to me. I mean, they had some very good stand-up performances.
Wait, Team Cohesion's being relegated. I didn't notice this before.
Yeah, they are. And unfortunately, if they had just gotten one map off of Global Esports, they wouldn't be in the spot. But yeah, looks like they are going to have to come back from the qualifiers aggressive. This is not what I was expecting, in all honesty.
Yeah, I didn't expect any of this.
Honestly, think about it. Like the top 4 was something that we were expecting, but the bottom 4, that was always something that we were waiting for. Like it could have been FS in the top 4 too, but Orglass, we kind of were expecting them to be in the 5th or 6th position, and we were expecting Team Cohesion to take maybe the 6th position at least. But no, it was honestly a competition between Orglass and Team Cohesion to like fight for survival from the very beginning. And honestly, I feel bad for Cohesion that their last match had to be against Global Esports because I feel like they just need a little more time and they would have survived better. They would have done way better in this entire season.
Yeah, that's one of the things. And Floki, you were gonna add something onto that. You were gonna say something before. Wait, did cut you off a little.
No, I was just going to say that I was a little surprised by this as well, but Orglass 5 and FS have had some promising performances, even though they haven't outright, really taken the cake by any stretch of the imagination. They've struggled, quite honestly, but you have to look at the struggles too and judge them based on what they have managed to accomplish despite those. They've put up, I think Orglass 5 as well, especially. I think they put up a very good performance against Force One Esports. I think they even won against them, if I recall correctly. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I mean, when you have teams like this, the Season 3 for the Gauntlet only becomes more exciting. But I think we've talked enough about Season 3. I think I want to talk a little bit more about the playoffs that are going to be coming up. Team EXO, Team Valor, Velocity, Global Esports, Force One, Enigma. I mean, just listen to the names. It's so stacked. The playoffs, it is going to be a bloodbath. I think a lot of fans are going to be disappointed seeing their favorite teams just get eliminated right off the bat. And today we even saw Reckoning. I mean, these guys, they were messing around a little bit earlier, but yeah, when they turned on the heat, there was not much that True Rippers could do there. They just got completely demolished. And yeah, if this is the level that the Gauntlet has risen to in the 2nd season, I don't even know what's going to happen in the 3rd one.
Yeah, we're talking about the 3rd again, Floki. You didn't want to talk about it, but we have to bring it up because, ladies and gentlemen, Season number 2 was the story of the underdogs, where they have risen up to the challenge, and from being tier 2 organizations, they have now shifted the gears and they are now tier 1s. Even the number 1 seeds being Global and Velocity, they need to be very careful and they need to watch out for a lot of these other teams, because honestly, Reckoning taking the number 1 position for Group A, I didn't expect it for even a second. We honestly thought that Reckoning would not be the one. It would be Team T69 being able to take it down forward and head on down over into playoffs. But that didn't happen. Team T69, they secure a spot for season number 3, but that's it. They didn't make it. That's one of the biggest mind-boggling moments in my eyes. But at the same time, this is the thing that we need to consider. This is not how it's going to be working out. A lot of these underdog teams, they're growing to a certain point to take down these juggernauts, and moving on down the line here, ladies and gentlemen, it's just going to get even better. But all these teams, they have booked their tickets down over onto playoffs, and hey, we're going to be closing this chapter and also the entire book for the group stages, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long journey. Come on, boys. We're going to say it. It's been a long journey. It's going to be a sigh of relief for us and for a lot of these teams as well. But at the same time, they can't take that big of a sigh of relief, because you gotta remember something. The stakes are gonna get even higher now. Playoffs are on the cards. It's right around the corner, and they need to be very careful of how they're gonna be stepping forward now, because the seedings, the matches are just gonna get even more intense, and there are no second chances. Yes, you have the lower brackets to work with, but if you get knocked out there are no more matches. The one chance that you have moving on down over to playoffs, you're gonna be losing the entire thing. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that we have for you for today. The TEC is going to be taking a short break as we do set everything up for the side of the playoffs. But hey, don't really worry about it, because we're going to be updating you on everything when it comes down to our socials. So make sure to check the links down below in the description. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. All of our socials are going to be down there. We're going to make the announcements and make sure you're going to stay updated. And also, as you are down there, hit that like, hit the subscribe, and also check out the links down below in the description when it comes down to our sponsors. If you want to get yourself geared up for season number 3, we got the best deals for you for the best gear that you can think of as well. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive, joined by Quaint and Floki, signing on off. And hey, it's been a long journey, but at the same time, we're going to be back soon enough with the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you soon enough. Good night and happy gaming.
Let's go.